Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us today. As Paxton said, we're going to talk about templates, and I love templates. I love anything that means I can save time. I don't have to repeat something, and it's, not having to start from scratch. So what are we going to cover today? In templates, we're going to talk about how to create them, how to apply them, and how to delete them, because templates is something that you will be updating over time. And as you change up your process or edit things, or as you grow, you'll want to, edit your templates. And so then you want to get rid of the old ones. Paxton will be doing the hands-on expert demonstrations today, and we will also talk about guidance and support, as well as giving you more details on the different types of templates, where you can find them. And if any of you have to leave early or what have you, don't fear, we will be sending everything out with the recording. So the overall goals today will be stopping that vicious cycle of reinventing the wheel every time you start a new project. I know I can be guilty of it too, but I tend to have the personality type. I am okay to do something once, maybe twice, but by the third time, if I'm having to repeat doing the same thing over and over and over again, I'm like, there has to be a better way. And so templates help save a ton of time in your studio. So it's going to minimize your time on that busy admin work. So you can take on more projects, be more focused on the projects that you do have, and it will allow you to manage multiple client projects without feeling overwhelmed, because we are not about having to start things from scratch. The templates will save you. There will be in your studio, and you're not going to have to go look for things, upload things. They're going to be there and ready for you when you're ready to onboard or start a new project. So there's two types of busy, and some people may disagree, but I feel there's a good busy and there's a bad busy. So the good busy rather is, your process and you have a repeatable process. So the two common types is your process, but you're too busy to take time to set up the templates. And I'm sure, raise your hands if that's you. You manually repeat your process. So every time you have a new client, every time you have a new project, you are starting from scratch. You're going in and you're going add project and you're typing everything in and you're starting from scratch. You want to share a questionnaire with a client. You're going to your Google Forms and your Jot Forms and you're finding that code and you're pasting it in. You need the client to sign a contract. You're going and you're looking for the contract and you're uploading the contract and you're starting from scratch. We can avoid all that. So the other type of busy is you don't have a process. You are willy-nillying it every time you start a new project. It's a different process, different things. And the problem with that is things can fall through the cracks and you're not ensuring that your clients are all getting the same client experience. So you don't know where to start and you're reinventing the wheel every time. And that's no fun, because that can lead to burnout. So how can a template help you? So templates are going to help save time and energy. They're going to lower your overhead costs because you're not going to be spending all that time, and time equals dollars, repeating the same thing over and over and over again, or reinventing that wheel. And it will allow for bigger growth and adaptability because you're not spending so much time on doing the busy admin work. It allows you to maybe take on extra projects, extra clients. And so you need to know where to start. So review your services, review your processes. This is a great time to sit down and evaluate what's working, what's not, what needs to change. What assets do you give your clients? Do you have a set assets that you give every client every time? Do you have an intake form that you give everyone during the initial consultation? What information are you sharing with each and every client? You don't need to recreate that or go looking for it, somewhere on your hard drive or somewhere in Canva or whatever other resource. It should already be in your studio and waiting for you. So what resources do you need to support your projects? Maybe you have them already, but maybe you need to create them. For example, for me, with an online design client, I was constantly having to tell them or show them how to measure their room. And I'm like, why am I repeating this all the time? So I just made a quick document, how to measure your room, how to draw a rough sketch, how to take photos of your space. So they were very easily then able to do that for me and upload it to the studio for me. And now it's over to Paxton, and I will be back later. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, let me know.
Awesome. Thank you. Real quick, Marcia, it looks like there are a couple people still trying to get the link. I've sent it to them, but if you don't mind just following up on that for me, please. And that is in our chat. It should be under my information. Okay, so let's get started. First things first. So we do always have some templates available on our website. So if you go to mydomastudio.com, learn, and then resources for interior designers, you may need to scroll down just a tiny bit, but there are helpful templates for interior designers here. So common things are the client welcome package, the contract template, questionnaire templates, things like that. So just so you know of options, like Marcia said, the measuring guide, different things that you may possibly need. There are also some premium ones. The premium ones would be a paid one, but all of these at the top are free. There are a ton of different templates that you can do in the studio. And some of them aren't even necessarily templates, but ways that you can still duplicate things. So there are, of course, project and package templates, custom products. Views are part of the project, but you can still duplicate a view. And so that can also help. Questionnaires, design boards, tasks, a bunch of different things. And with a project template, anything that is in the project that is not financials, so proposal, order, or invoice, it'll copy all of that information over for you as well. And so that can save a whole lot of time. Because we have a webinar specifically dedicated to project templates, I don't want to go too far into that just because that would take up our whole time. So just to show you where to find this, there's two different ways that you can go to the help guides. You can select your studio logo mark at the top left and then go to help guides, or you can select the question mark at the top right and then go to help guides here. And you can select a specific topic, and specifically it's going to be under training and resources, but I'm going to first go to see all help articles in case you come here first. So again, it's under training and resources. And then you can see training and free webinars. So if you want to learn about project templates, that is listed right here. And then also, if you're wanting to go into custom product templates, we do have how to create and use custom products in Mydoma, and that covers a lot of that. Again, because custom products can go super in depth, I don't want to go too into the weeds, but if we have questions about it at the end, I'm more than happy to go over some of those things. And of course, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to support and we can send you some of these templates or at least direct you back to the website to find these or just teach you how to do certain templates. Another thing is in the help guides, if you search for templates, it will also show you a bunch of different articles on what we're going to cover today. So let's go into a project first. And I see all of these projects listed here. If I have a project already set up how I would like, I can select the three dots and save project as template. Just keep in mind, it is going to copy over everything except for proposals, orders, and invoice. So that does include any products that you have in there, any files and media, stuff like that. So if you save it as a template, you would likely want to come back and edit it or tweak it to remove some of that not financial, client information, and then resave that as a new template. Because a project template has so much, there's not a way to just edit. Go ahead and apply it and then make any changes and then save it as a new one. So to save as a project template, again, I'm going to select the three dots and save. To apply a project template, I'm going to select add project at the top right. And then there is this option to select create from template. And so I'll choose the option that I would like. A lot of these options will be set based off of the template. Next, of course, you have to give the project a name and then continue on. Let's go into this project and go to contracts. So as you can see, I have a couple contracts already listed here. For a contract template, it has to be a text contract. It can't be a file that you upload just because you can't edit that PDF or Word doc or whatever you're uploading. So it has to be a text contract. So at the top right, you'll select. Oh, I just, it did it and then I just hit refresh, sorry. And then you will go ahead and type out the text contract that you would like to have. So I have this already filled out and formatted. So once I am happy with this, I am then going to select create template on the top right. And again, keep in mind, we do have a contract template listed on our website. So that is going to be the easiest way to get a free contract template. Of course, you may need to make tweaks. And so what you would do is you would copy it and paste it into the text, make any adjustments, whether that be formatting or wording to make it match. Definitely still meet with a business lawyer to go over the contract for your jurisdiction. And then you can go and again, select create template. Give this a name. So this one specifically is a scope of work. So some people will have scope of work that they want to have in the contracts, letter of agreement, full-on contracts. It just depends on what you're needing. And also if you need a more hard, solid signature, definitely put it in the contracts versus something like files and media or the proposal, just because they can approve it, but you can also unapprove it. And so it's not as legally binding because with a contract, once it's signed, you cannot edit it. And that is part of what holds it up. So in this contract, I'm going to give it a name. And I personally like to put the date in the description, especially for contracts, so I know when I last updated it. Because every so often you get something that you need to add to your contract, or you just want to review it and adjust it with the times. You'll want to know when you last updated it. So today is May 7th. Of course, you can add any extra details in here. And it'll save it as a template. You won't see anything necessarily here, and that's perfectly fine. So once I went into to add a text contract and this new contract that is blank, I'm going to select the templates option at the top right, select the template that I would like. And as you can see, I have multiple templates in my studio. So it just depends on what you need. And then once you've selected the option you would like, you're going to select apply template. It's going to give you a warning that it's going to overwrite everything that's in here. So if you started to type something out where it says create contract, if you started to type something out, it will overwrite this. It will not overwrite other contracts. It's just whatever you have right here. So if it's blank, it doesn't matter. But if you started typing something out, you may not want to do that. You may want to copy what you had first before you apply the template, if you needed that. So I'm going to go ahead and select apply. And again, you can see that it pulled over all of the formatting that I had and details. So then from there, I will select the signatories, select who I would like to sign it. And you can now select multiple clients and yourself to sign this. If the client is not assigned to the contract, they won't be able to see the contract. So just keep that in mind. And then also you'll need to mark it ready for signature. So that's pretty much it for the contract template. Again, we have the contract template listed here on our website for free. If you just click on it, it will take you in and have you type in your information, and then it will email the template directly to you. So again, you can tweak it, copy and paste, and go from there. Next up, we'll go to products and services. So I'm not going to go super into custom products, but I just want to show you where to find that. So custom at the top right, it may be behind my face in the recording. I can name the item that I would like. So let's do, I already have drapery. Let's do, maybe I have a sofa template. And then once you have the templates in here, again, you can select the templates. If you don't have anything in here, then you won't see anything listed. You'll select to create it. And then you'll go ahead and make any edits. So add any sub items, whether you want generic items or something that you always use for a common custom sofa that you use in your products, you can do that too. So again, make any adjustments that you need. Then you'll select the three dots and save custom product as a template. Again, you'll give the template a name and a description, and the name and the description are internal only. So it's just for you to know what template you're selecting and what all it includes. So I'm going to say sofa, no sub items. And again, I always like to add my date. Go ahead and save that. And I have this template. It's still loading since I just did that, and Zoom hates my bandwidth. There we go. So I can select the sofa and give it a name, and it'll copy it all over. I'm gonna name this sofa 2 just so we can see that it'll copy this. Create sofa. And so it just copied that for me and any details that were in it. I'm going to delete these 2 items just so I don't have to think about them anymore. Let's go into views. So again, whenever you create views in your products and services and then save this as a project template overall, save the project as a project template overall, it will copy all of the views that you have created over for you. So you don't even have to think about it moving forward. However, we all know that sometimes our projects aren't the same. So maybe you have one extra bathroom that you didn't have previously, or an extra bedroom, stuff like that. If you go to a view that you would like, of course, I have 5 bathrooms apparently in this one. So let's add a 6th. I'm going to select this bathroom. And then at the top is the option to duplicate. So if I needed to make any changes, you don't want to make the change to the view that you're in. You want to duplicate it, and then it will ask for any changes there. So I'm going to select duplicate, and it's going to copy all of these settings that I have, all of the visibility settings, and all of the details. So if you do already have the view visible to your clients that you're duplicating, it will make this new view visible as well. So you just want to keep that in mind whenever you're duplicating. So there's 2 things that you will, 2, maybe 3 things that you'll definitely want to change whenever you duplicate a view. So the first thing are the tags contains. So right now it says bathroom 5, and I don't want 2 bathroom 5s. I want a bathroom 6. So I will start to type in bathroom 6. Do I have a bathroom 6? I do not. So I will enter that in, and it'll allow me to create it. And I'm going to remove bathroom 5 from here. Okay. Set visibility is going to be set up the same way. So likely you aren't going to want to change this. However, maybe you're making a pricing sheet or making something for your vendor. You may possibly want to change a couple of things, and that's totally okay. But lastly, the name of the view, because it right now says bathroom copy, bathroom 5 copy, and I want this to be bathroom 6. So I will do that. And again, if I wanted it to be visible or not visible, I would want to pay attention to that before I do anything. Go ahead and select save. And then from here, I can see that I have a bathroom 6. Some of these things are not tagged for the bathroom 6, so some things won't show. Let's go ahead and refresh just to make sure. So again, I have bathroom 6. And if I need to make any changes, I can do that here. So this one specifically says including design, detail design and bathroom 6. So if I don't want anything that's detailed design, I can remove that and only show things that are bathroom 6. And so right now I don't have anything tagged for that. And so that's why it's not showing anything. So if I come back in here, let's add this as that. And then now that shows in here. Or of course, if you add items to here, once I'm in the view, it'll pre. So there's something to keep in mind whenever you're duplicating a view. Maybe you just want to create a generic view for your project template and then you duplicate it based off of your needs. Or you go ahead and create everything that you could possibly need and then delete out what you don't need. Because maybe you don't need a bathroom 6 or however many. That way you are just already pre-prepared. But there are always those rooms or instances that pop up that maybe we aren't using regularly, that a duplicate will come in a lot more handy than trying to recreate and making sure that it matches. It's just a lot less steps. For questionnaires, again, we have our questionnaire templates listed in here. And again, if you click on it, it will ask to email it to you. And these are Google Form templates. So just keep that in mind. You can also use Jotform, Typeform, almost any type of form as long as it has a code that is shareable, or some of them have a link that you could just use as well. If you have questions, please let us know and we'll try to help you figure it out. Even if we aren't used to that questionnaire platform, we can't guarantee, but we'll at least find out for you or find out together. So whenever you're doing this, you're going to select to add a questionnaire, give it a name, and then paste the code from whatever questionnaire platform you're using. So let me pull my code from my questionnaire on my Google form. Bring this over here. So I made copies already. I'll come in here and make any tweaks. Then I'm going to select to send it. And then I'm going to select this option right here. It looks like two kind of carrots pointing out away from each other. And it has an embed code right here. So now I can select to copy, come back to my studio, and paste this code. And save this. So now whenever I select to open the questionnaire, it'll open this up and fill this out. Keep in mind, this email that shows listed here is based off of what Google profile you're logged in as. It's not going to show, so if you're logged in as your own personal email, it's not going to show to your clients. It's based off of whoever's looking at it. So to save this, I'm going to select the 3 dots and then select create template here. So again, I'm going to give it a name. And again, I can name it however I want just because it's internal only. Whenever I apply the template and give that a name, that's where it comes into play that I needed to adjust it for the client. Go ahead and save this. I'm actually going to delete this just to kind of show you that it saves the template, even though I deleted what it was originally. So I'm going to select add questionnaire. This name right here is what shows to the client. So let's say kitchen questions. The template, here's where I see the name and the description that I created for the template specifically. And that is just, again, internal information so I can see a little bit more about what I'm working with. So I selected that and it pulled the code for me. So I didn't have to go back to Google Forms or wherever to grab that code again. I'm done with that. So I can then select save. And again, I open the questionnaire and it's listed here. Now let's go over to design boards. I'm actually going to go into a different project real quick. Helps if I add a space where I need it. And come down to design boards. So there are a lot of common things that you can do with your design boards. And whenever I select to add new, again, the option to add a template is going to be listed here. So I'm going to give it a name. This is for the design board that I'm creating the template. You'll want, at the very least, your logo. You may want a kind of like header that you can adjust, some extra information, maybe even a hotspot that links to your website, possibly, if it's in a package. So let's name this, I'm just going to name it board, just for the time being. I can adjust the size, and keep in mind the size of the board is definitely important whenever you're saving the template, because if you're trying to print it off as the largest size that it possibly can be, but you're using a template that's defaulted, it's not quite going to adjust to it properly. So you want to make sure that whenever you're saving this, you set it to the right size that you're needing. And then same thing for the orientation, whether you want it as landscape or portrait. So for right now, I'm going to leave it as default and go ahead and save it. And then from here, I can select to add, upload image. And then in the media gallery, this shows any and all images that I have ever uploaded into my studio, which also includes my logo. So it's based off of the file name, or if you use the clipper to bring a product in, it'll be based off of that product name. But from there, you can pull it from the catalog or pull it from your project. The media gallery is especially useful if they sent in inspiration photos to the files of media, or if they sent before photos, again, your logo, things like that. So I'm going to select my logo here and upload it. And again, I can move it around wherever I'd like. So let's say that I always want it at the bottom left corner right there. And if I want to make any more adjustments, I can do that. And again, I can add any other extra images in here that I need. And again, fill that out. Something else that you can do is if you wanted to upload an image of a template itself. So say that you create something in Canva and wanted to do that, you can upload that and then adjust it from here. So this is just basically a duplicate of the same board. So that's probably not what I'm going to want, but you kind of get the idea. So say that you always want a render listed at the top left and then some product images on the right and different things. You can create something in Canva, maybe for an intern or for an assistant, to just kind of show them the general idea of how you would like boards to be set up. And then you can go ahead and add that in and be good to go. So then they'll have an image on the back to where they can place things accordingly to get it at least started for you. You may have to make some tweaks, but then you can kind of delete that background image out. Marcia, do you remember what that image was called for that template?
There they are.
This?
Yeah, I just uploaded those. And then you can just resize it. There you go.
Yep. So if you have like inspo images and again, any,
There's one for rendered. There you go.
any renderings, things like that, you can basically just adjust it and kind of lay it out. Or if you have a full template that you wanted to do, and just make sure if you do it in Canva that you again set it to the size of the board that you're going to be using. So it gives you the actual dimensions on these, because then you can line it up fully with the full board. But once you have done this, then you can select settings, scroll down, and create template. So again, I can type that up. Save this. And if I go into a new board, default dimensions real quick is just going to be the standard size of paper. So it's going to be the same as the ANSIA, that 8.5 by 11 inches or 21.59 centimeters by 27.94 centimeters. I can select this option. I have to give my board a name. Depending on how much is on your board for the template, it can take a little bit more time. Again, just depends. But as you can see, I just created that board too, and it pulled everything over for me. And then once I've placed images, I can select the image and then delete, or in the item list, I can also, nope, they moved it. You can select delete here. Sorry, that was new with the update. So I can select to delete that out and then have whatever image in to replace it. So another option is you can also select the 3 dots to create the template from outside the board too. Just keep in mind, again, if you have it published or not, that will copy over along with the board. You can always unpublish it, but just keep that in mind. Okay, so now let's go on to task templates. And again, we had a webinar that went into tasks and calendars recently, and that kind of goes into a lot more details on what all you can do in a task template. But for the task template, it's going to copy over a lot of the details. And so you can have a bunch of different templates for this. So let's say that you need something for damaged products, or maybe you just need it for your process, or whatever it may be. You want to assign a task to a client so they upload their inspiration photos or before photos. You can do that too. There's a ton of different things, and we will have a guide for you on examples of task templates that you can use and some things that you can put into it so you can create these on your own. So if I select to add a new task, whether I'm in a project or in the overall task manager, I can give it a name, status, priority. It will copy over the assignees and watchers, so just keep that in mind. For the task templates, I recommend for team members, go ahead and add them. But for clients, do not add them before you save it as a template. You can add them after you save it as a template, but do not add them before. You can add a start and end date. Of course, you can assign it to a project. And then you can also add a description and checklists. So all of this information is going to give you the option to edit this before you fully save it whenever you're doing the templates. But let's just give this, oops, I accidentally turned my number lock off. I can select the down arrow, save as template from this, so I don't even have to fully create it, or I can create and save as template. So I'm going to go ahead and create and save. Actually, I lied. I'm going to go ahead and just create so I can show you how to save it as a template after it's created. So let's search for that task that I just created. I'm going to open it up. And then at the top right, I have the 3 dots again, and then I can save task as template. And again, it kind of shows me what it includes and some of the details. That way I can kind of get a general idea of what I am saving. Again, I'm going to name this template, give it a description, and then save it. So now, if I wanted to create a new task, there is this clipboard, there we go, clipboard with a check mark on it at the top right, and then I can see all the different task templates that I've used before or created. So let's actually do this conceptual design phase. Again, it shows me what all it includes, and so I can back out and go into something else if I was like, oh, wait, this isn't quite what I was looking for. But this was the one that I wanted, so I'm going to go ahead and select template. And you can see it lists the task as new task name, so you will still need to rename it. But any checklists, description, again, assignees or watchers, it will copy that over for you. And then you can create it, or you can cancel out if you didn't end up needing it. And again, with task templates, if you create them in a project and assign it to that project, and then save the project as a whole as a template, it'll also copy over all those tasks. I'd like to have my tasks in the project, but also have them saved as individual templates, because sometimes maybe you made an adjustment too far. You don't want to recreate that whole project. You just want that one task. And so you can add that task again and move on from there. Or again, sometimes if you're doing things like damage claims, you might not just need one, you may need multiple. And so saving each task as its own individual thing will help. Of course, still save things in the project template to help get things started. For example, like your process and things like that. Great way to use that. But just have that on the back, basically in your back pocket as kind of like a little backup. So I've shown you how to create and apply all of these. So let me show where to actually delete. So it'll be in the logo mark at the top left. Go to Studio Settings. And then you will see the option for templates listed here. In this section, you see all of the different options that you have. I did not mention package ones. We'll go back to that, but it works exactly like the project ones. And you can go and click through to see all of the different things. If you select the 3 dots on something and edit, it is to only edit the name of the template and the description. It does not edit the actual template itself. If you need to edit the actual template, you will again apply it where you need it, make any edits, and then resave it as a template. It's just so, because you can have so much information, is to make sure that you have full control over what's visible and what's not. So I am going to save this, but if I wanted to delete it, I can select the 3 dots and then delete. It will show an empty spot right here, but if you continue on and come back later, it will not show that empty spot. It's just so it's not constantly refreshing and moving things around. It's so you can actually go ahead and make any edits or delete anything with everything staying in place while you're working on it. So if I come back, actually, if I refresh because I didn't fully go back, you can see it readjusted, reformatted for it. So for package templates, this again will copy everything in the package. So I'm going to go to packages at the bottom. I can again select the 3 dots and save packages templates. Or if I am in a package, I can select the 3 dots and again save packages template here. It's going to copy over pretty much everything in here. And then you can apply it and make any adjustments. But it works almost exactly like the project templates. So something else to keep in mind for templates that you have, you can create files in media folders and add things in there. You can add basic appointments that you're going to regularly use. You can do a whole bunch of things. It's obviously going to change per studio, per business, per person, but templates will help save you so much time. It can take time to set it up, and I am guilty of this. I am. It takes time to set it up, and everybody's like, I'm so busy. But if you take that time, even if you take just a little bit of time each day or each week to work a little bit on it, then you can at least still make progress and continue with your busy schedule. But once you save those templates, it'll save you so much time because then you don't have to go back through and recreate everything that you've been doing. You'll just already have it set up. Whenever you're setting up templates, I personally like to create a generic project, not necessarily do it in a client's project. I like to create a generic project, whether I name that as my business name or just name it as project template even. That way I can use that and continue tweaking it and making things adjusted and not have to worry about accidentally sharing a template with a client. Or if you're already going to go ahead and add it to a client's profile, go ahead and save it as a template. So let's come back here. And Marcia, I'll let you finish off the slides and we will go off to questions. So there are going to be multiple QR codes throughout this. They are all leading to help guides that you have, but we can come back to the QR codes or I can make sure to send that along with the other resources with the recording.
Okay, hello. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that demonstration by Paxton. So what do you include in your templates? Well, if we're talking about task templates, for example, you'd want to include any checklist that you have, any checklist for assets, for your process, any internal resources that you need to have on hand, maybe for team members when you're delegating certain tasks, even for users, for your clients. If you don't have a fleshed out design process, start by making some high level tasks in your task manager. And then we reference the Mydoma method, and you can find that in the help guides. And here is the QR code for the task templates themselves. I worked for a long time in Mydoma, did not have task templates, and in the last 6 to 9 months, I have created them and they have made all the difference. It makes it so much easier for me to delegate to a VA, for example. It makes it so much easier to keep my clients on task with their project as well. They really do appreciate having that checklist and knowing that they're not hindering the project from moving forward. And so it just keeps everyone on task. So I love it. So what's the return on investment? Okay, so I know we hear it all the time, and I'm guilty of it too. I've been too busy. I'm too busy. I don't have the time. But you have all this time to do all this busy work all the time. So take the time now to do the templates, get everything set up so you don't have all this busy overhead admin work to be doing all the time. Trust me, you will find that you work so much faster and you're working so much smarter. So once you have your assets ready, building a project template from scratch to take about 2 to 3 hours. And Paxton actually recommended that you don't take an existing project, but start a new one. I have one in my studio. I just called it project template. And it's in there that I was able to add all my assets, even if you just take 15 minutes a day to do it. By the end of the week, you will have your project template set up. And then next week, when you start a new project, you're not sitting there starting from scratch. So like I said, take a couple of hours. And I know that seems like a lot in a day, but just take 15-minute chunks to work on your project template. So that means you can expect to save up to 2 hours per project and set yourself up for consistency. The most time investment is in creating the assets. So if you don't have those resources, that's where it's going to take you time. But we, as we showed you, do have some downloads available to you on the Mydoma website. That is a good starting point. Now, with those templates, it is, I have to say it, you do need to edit them. You're not going to download them and then immediately, have them in your studio. That's not how it works. Those templates are a guide for you. You will need to update the copy. You will need to make it, with your brand. You will need to make sure it sounds like you. It will have to align with your process. So you will have to edit them, but they are a great starting point. Again, you're not starting from ground zero. We're providing you with a document, a template as a starting point. Edit it, then upload it to your studio. And then the best practices for the project templates, we didn't go into the project template as a whole today, but like I say, once you have your contract and your questionnaire and all those other things that Paxton has walked you through, if you add those to a project, then it's very easily can save that whole thing as a whole as a project template. So again, make sure, I know I'm like repeating myself here, but make sure you have your process and your assets and resources ready before you sit down to create your actual template. Like make a list, what do I need to do? And like we're helping you. We already have a bunch of them already available to you. You just need to edit them. Have templates for different project types. So for example, I have full service design and I do online design. So I have a project template for both. Have a master template for each type that you can be easily edited for various project scopes. For example, like my project scope letter of agreement for an online design project is obviously going to be different for a full service design. So I just have those tweaked and I have them saved. So I'm not having to edit that document over and over and over again. So think about how you work, think about your services, and think about those assets that you need, that you're always creating, always looking for. Make those edits and upload them. So other templates and guides. So here they all are. Here's the QR codes. Take a little screenshot if you need to. Again, we'll be sending it all out, but we have how to create a contract template. So we know we've given you a lot of information today. So the contract template, like Paxton said, it has to be a text document. And I used to use a very pretty PDF as well that I created. And I'm like, no one cares. No one cares how pretty your contract is. All that is important is the verbiage and that you're protecting yourself and your client is feeling protected. So I just use a text template now, text contract. Scan or how to scan for your questionnaire. Again, you have to create that questionnaire in Google Forms, Typeforms, whatever questionnaire app you want to use. So again, when you download the questionnaire template from our studio later today, you will have to go into some sort of form builder and create that and then upload it into the studio. Custom product template, that is a whole webinar on its own. It is a beast. And so that's the QR code for that. And then how to create a package template. These are very easy. I love packages. We actually have a webinar dedicated to that as well. And once you create your package, you can save it, you can duplicate it. It's easy. And then, of course, how to delete those templates. So because you're going to be updating those over time, maybe you're, evolving and what have you. And some of the templates are getting old. So that's why we always say, make sure you give them a description. Make sure you include the date so you know which is the newest one. But yes, make sure you keep them cleaned up too, so you don't get inundated when you go to choose a template and you have no idea which one to choose.
I'm going to give just another second, just in case.
Paxton's driving, so that's why there's a little bit of a delay. It's not, so just a second there. She's driving the slides and I'm doing the talking.
I'm going to go ahead and change it, but again, we're going to provide all of this with the recording.
Yes, we are. So work smarter, not harder. Streamline your process, create those templates, and then rinse and repeat, right? Don't start from scratch. Get off the hamster wheel. Be the good busy, not the bad busy. And then maybe you are really, really busy and you don't have time, you don't know where to start. then that's where a VA can be super, super helpful. You can hire a VA for a couple hours a week to get all this set up for you, but you will have to provide them with those assets. Like you have to have a contract. So, pass that on to them, let them upload it to your studio. Again, there's lots of help out there.
So again, this just leads back to that resource page on our website for the templates that are already existing and out there for the world. In case you don't have them, again, if you go to mydomastudio.com/resources or mydomastudio.com and then go to learn, and then resources for interior designers is listed right at the top. And it can email you all those templates and any instructions along with that.